Hello and welcome to Redeeming Thunder. The prophetic word given was O se pacach, which means exclamation. Se is referencing the flock, so the church. The church, and he is actually talking about, Yahusha is talking about the lamb and the goats within the church. And pacach means to pass over, so he's passing over his staff of authority within the church and separating the goats from his sheep. And if you can do one thing to become a sheep and not a goat, because the goats don't get selected, only the sheep get selected, okay, to be in the corral and be safe in his arms and in his supernatural protection. If it was one thing that is stopping from making it into that, I guess the question is, what is your Isaac? For those that are waiting for the prodigals to return, your spouse, maybe a parent, children, and you're wondering, where are they? God Almighty said that they were going to come, and they're not here yet. And one could have thought, hey, you thought you were going to die not having that person in your life, but you are still standing, you're still here. And maybe the lesson in there was, he doesn't want you to feel like you're going to die because you don't have that loved one with you. He wants you to feel that you could die if you don't have him Almighty, your Father, defending you and protecting you and loving you and keeping you away from evil, okay, and guiding you throughout your path. And you should feel, he wants you to feel that level of love and need, that you need him, that you want him, the level that you felt for those individuals that are not here, or that individual that's not here. Can you do that? Because I feel that as soon as you wrap your mind around that you can possibly do it and love God that much, that he will probably give you, you finally had passed the test, and he would finally hand over the prodigal. What if the return of the prodigals was just a holdup now of self, not reverting back to putting those individuals as on a pedestal, as the story of Abraham and his son Isaac? Have you thought about that? Because we're all, could be, I mean, at the doorstep to enduring those wraths or to not. We shouldn't be that close. Okay, we should all be having extra oils. That means having a personal relationship and conversing with God Almighty on a daily basis, and truly knowing him on a personal level. And some people get to actually hear him, you know, sometimes they're prophetic, or they can actually just hear him speak to them. And that's even like a higher level of being very close and being considered. You want to be considered being a son or daughter of the Most High. You don't want to just be the one who just slides in, makes it. If you can think of what could be your Isaac out in the world, okay? It could be your electronics, social media. Is it your partner, your spouse, is it your children? Is it your work. I mean, think why would God Almighty send this message and he wants it to be known to the public? Why? Just think of it this way. Why? Because he still feels like there's adultery happening in the church. He still feels like either one is becoming a self-idol and or having many idols. And he does not approve. And he's making the selection. He's dividing the flock. And the goats don't make it. Only the sheep. You want to be considered in his corral, because there's, I know we're living day in and day out and everything seems normal. Like everything's going to, it feels almost like nothing bad is going to happen in the future and everything's going to stay the same, but it's already have struck. Okay? Back pay is coming for the righteous. That has already been, checked off the list. Okay? And when that happens, at the same time, there's going to be destruction and calamities and wrath coming to the wicked. It happens all at the same time. That's what the Most High said. It's going to happen all at the same time. And if you can take some time, I know everybody's very busy, but there's a lot of things that he has rescued all of us from and made our lives a bit better than they were before. So while we're in the waiting game of waiting for the prodigals to return, while we're in the waiting game, waiting for the back pay to actually be hitting our bank accounts, while we're in the waiting game it shouldn't be so much as leisure and going in and day out. You should be concentrating on how you can honor and glorify the Most High. And it's kind of like, maybe you're getting tired of me saying this, but if you watch the story of Ruth, I saw this on YouTube a while ago when I was observing a holiday. And in every conversation, they were just like, and the Most High granted us this wheat, and this Most High, glory to God Almighty for this new day of breath. And it's like everything that they spoke about, there was no slander, there was no gossip, they were going through some hard times. Okay, she lost her husband, I think she lost her children, and then she went and she met Boaz, and so things turned around for her. That story. Okay. And thank the Lord. But she was very obedient though. And she came from a pagan religion family, and she married into a Hebrew family. Okay. But then her husband died, but he was not following the commandments all in itself, and he ended up perishing. And the mother was just, hope I'm saying the story right. But the mother, she just lost all her boys. Okay. So both women ended up traveling to another country and starting over from scratch. And it's scary to do that. And so whenever God's doing that, he's trying to teach us something. And if you can watch that and be like, oh my, they're always giving thanks to God. That's the way, and then that's the way he wants us to be. Okay. It shouldn't be such a stretch to just honor the holidays. You could save yourself from a lot of potential curses. And, if you just follow the holidays, the Jewish holidays that are God's appointed times and seasons. Okay. They are very important, like Sabbath and there's a second Passover coming on May 21st, and it's from sunrise to sunrise. And he mentioned that to me. He even gave me a prophetic word that said second Passover. So he wants me to honor these holidays. Why? Because then you could become the chosen people. You actually fall. He doesn't want us to celebrate the pagan holidays, the Christian holidays. He wants us to celebrate his holidays, his appointed times. And if you think about it, it's just, so for Sabbath, you don't cook on that day. So you just make something the day before and then heat it up. It can be a big sub sandwich. You can just slice it up. We think, oh, it's just so hard. Just, can you just serve yourself some ice cream? You know, like, it's not that hard, you know. It's not that hard to not honor these holidays. All you do is pray and you focus on his word. You learn something. You're eating spiritually as you're also not working it, you know, on that day. And then you are spending time with family and unity. And then in worship. Who doesn't like to sing? You know, so it's these little holidays that we feel like, I don't know if I can really do this to have it, put it into a daily, a monthly, a yearly habit. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do it. It will work out. And there's a beautiful song, Hermoso Momento, which means beautiful moment in Spanish. Oh, it's just so lovely. If I can play it for you, I will on this video. Look it up on YouTube and find the translation if you have a different language. But it speaks a lot about very humble praise and worship, and recognizing all of the treasures, all of the help, the rescue, saving us from difficult circumstances, setting a table before us for his children, accepting us. It is very, very beautiful song, and that's a worship song that the Most High said that he wanted us to sing to him.